Hi guys, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Ami. I'm a nurse practitioner. On this channel, I talk about nursing. I make videos about mental health. I do hair tutorial videos, some financial tips. If these are videos or topics that you're interested in, please make sure you subscribe and join the family. And thank you so much for all the new subscribers, guys. It has been amazing. Again, one of the best thing about being a small YouTuber is you appreciate even one subscriber, okay? It's just amazing. So I'm really grateful for all the new subscribers and then the people that have been subscribing to my channel since I started this channel almost a year ago. So thank you again for you guys. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about the whole thing about nurse practitioner degree. So 9 years later, from beginning from undergrad to getting a nurse practitioner degree took about 9 years and over $100,000 worth of student loans. Is it worth it? Guys, okay, let's talk, okay? So again, for me, when I started school, I went straight from high school and I went to a 4-year college it's supposed to be 4 years, but it ended up being 5 years to get my undergrad. And part of that is because I ended up transferring from one university to a different university. And what happens is sometimes when you do that, some of your credits don't transfer over. So then that lengthens the amount of time that you stay in school. So for me, it took me about 5 years to get my RN BSN. So that's my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, to become a registered nurse. So over that 5-year period, I accumulated, and I went to a school it was pretty expensive. This was in the East Coast. So the school was about $40,000 a year. Even with me, getting some scholarships, I made sure that I lived on campus for the first year, but I was with a different school. And afterwards, I lived off campus and I had like a little studio apartment and I was working. So I really caught on really, really fast in terms of like, okay, living on campus can be really expensive. So for this, when I graduated after that 5 years of getting my RN BSN, I had over $50,000 worth of student loans. And this is because this is only, so mind you, the school that I went to is about $40,000 a year, okay? So if you go to that school for 4 or 5 years, that's a lot of money. So for me, it was more on the conservative side to graduate from that particular school for just $50,000. And it's a lot of money. But I know some of the student that we went to school together that went to that school straight on and maybe lived on campus, they graduated over $100,000 worth of student loans. That is insane for a bachelor's degree in nursing. And these are some things that people sometimes don't talk about when we're talking about, getting an education and all that stuff. We don't talk about how much it's gonna cost you. And especially when you're in school, you're able to get student loans. You don't realize how that affects you later on until when you graduate. Actually, that's when you're like, oh my God, this is a mortgage, guys. It's like the student loans, it's like graduating with an undergraduate degree and you have over almost $50,000 above that for just a undergrad degree. That's a lot of money, guys. And for a lot of nurses, depending on how much you work and what units, what states, some people don't really make too much money, to be honest with you. Travel nursing, on the other hand, there are some people that do travel nursing and make a whole lot of money. But for the regular Joe RN nurse that works on a med-surg floor or nursing home or whatever the case might be, sometimes you may make $60,000 a year. Sometimes you may make $70,000 a year. So it's one of those things where you really want to pay attention to if you're thinking about going back to school, not even just for nursing. This can be related to other majors. So you really got to think about it. And the student loans thing, again, in the beginning, because you're not paying out of pocket for it, it doesn't seem so much. So it doesn't seem like it's a hassle until when you get out. So you really want to think about that, okay? To see, okay, do I really want to go to a 4-year college, or I want to start off with a community college and things like that. So for me, again, for undergrad, that's how much it cost me. And that was on the lower end of the spectrum. So again, there are some people that graduated with over $100,000 of student loans. Now, fast forward after 5 years of undergrad school, went back to school for 3 years. And this is all year round. So technically it's a 4-year school because I didn't have a summer break. Okay. So this is to get my doctorate degree as a family nurse practitioner. So that took about 3 years all year round, but I'm just going to add my calculation and make that 4 years. But either way, okay, so that's about roughly 8-9 years to get a nurse practitioner degree. Now, With that being said, to get a nurse practitioner degree, there are some master's program where it only takes about 2 years. My program was a doctorate degree program, so it was a 3-year program, okay? So if you think about it, so you graduate as an FNP or family nurse practitioner, and you've been in school for about 8 or 9 years. That's a long time, guys. That is a long time to be in school, okay? And when I keep saying this, because sometimes I make these videos, even recently when I made a video about going back to school to get my postmaster's degree in mental health, some people like, you might think that I like school. I really don't like school. It was just one of those things where, to me, I look at it as an investment, okay? So, and again, so for me now, I'm going on 10 years of schooling. When I could have just went to school, maybe try to doctor out and become a doctor. I don't know. So overall, that's how long it took me. So to acquire a nurse practitioner degree, it can take you an average from like to get your RN, BSN, and all the way up to a master's degree or a doctorate degree. It can't take you up to 8 years. Mine was 9. I'm one of those special ones. It took me 5 years to get my undergrad degree, but it's just something to really think about. And when you think about, I remember when I was graduating and we were looking for jobs, and it depends on the state too. There are some states again that pays a little bit more, but you have to look at the cost of living and other things of that nature, what your specialty is. I remember some of my classmates, they were being offered $80,000 a year as a nurse practitioner, guys. That is insane. The amount of time and money that you put into schooling and learning and things like that. That's another video for another day, but I really feel as though you really got to think about it, like which way you want to proceed. And sometimes thinking about the specialty wise, there are some people that go back to school and do a nurse anesthetist. That one for sure makes a lot of money. So you got to think about that. And also if you have passion for that. So those are things that you need to think about. So for me, overall, when I'm sitting down thinking about, okay, I've been in school for over 9 years to acquire a nurse practitioner degree, over $100,000 worth of student loans, is it worth it? So overall, for me, it's been a long time, but overall, I feel as though, because I love nursing and I love being a nurse practitioner and I love what I do. To me, it's worth it, to be honest with you. The downside to it is the student loans portion, but if you think about it from a bigger perspective, it's an investment that I made on myself, and that's something that no one can take away from me. Like, it doesn't matter if I die, my education is gonna go with me, okay? When I die, not if. When I die. So that's something that I feel as though it can take you along when that's something that someone can't take away from you is your education. So for me, I feel as though it's worth it. Finances wise, so if you are able to, regardless of how much student loans you come out when you graduate and how much student loan you ended up getting, the goal for me is, where you usually see the downside to that is when you don't tackle those student loans. And everybody have a different perspective about, some people feel as though student loans are always going to be there forever, and some people like, okay, I need to pay this off and be done with it. So for me, it's one of those things where I'm gonna live a very, very low lifestyle to be able to pay off my student loans, because that's something that I really want to get rid of. I really don't like debt, guys. I hate debt, to be honest with you. There are such things as some good debts and there's bad debts. For me, school-wise, it was one of those things where I feel as though that was good debt, and that's something that I can work really hard and pay off in a few years, and I can be free from that whole student loan bondage thing. So I feel as though, to me, it's definitely worth it. And all these 9 years, I could not be doing anything, and the 9 years would have went by anyway. So for me right now, looking back, I'm like, okay, at least I did something with my life, and something that's going to be it's going to be with me forever. So if you're thinking about, again, thinking about going back to school or thinking about doing nursing or whatever it is, so think about those things in terms of like finances and student loans and the length of time that it's going to take you, and look at your situation and see if that's the best thing for you. I hope this video is helpful. Until next time, guys, stay positive, be kind to one another, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye, guys.